take a perspective of. So, three types of empathy. And these seem to describe a 1, 2, 3 sequence of development, right? I notice you, cognitive. I feel with you, the emotional. And I act to help you, the compassionate. It sounds suspiciously like the Good Samaritan. He noticed the person on the road, he felt for them, and then he acted to help them. It's an incredible story. Well, in order to better practice empathy and progress in this sequence, first, we need to repair the damage of our childhood. We need to repair the damage of our childhood. A quote, "People whose integrity has not been damaged in childhood, who were protected, respected, and treated with honesty by their parents, will be, both in their youth and in adulthood, intelligent, responsive, empathetic, and highly sensitive. They will not be able to do otherwise than respect and protect those weaker than themselves, including their children, because this is what they have learned from their own experience." End quote. That's Alice Miller, a 20th century German psychoanalyst. Well, we need to repair the damage of our childhood because we realize, I know, that most of us don't have the benefit of a great childhood, of a great father and mother who poured into us. And I don't think we should shy away from a good counselor who is the best way to find help in this damage, a great counselor. So I urge you, if you've had that kind of childhood where there was damage, to find a counselor and work through that. We know that most of our childhoods were far from perfect, but the Creator God can recreate our past. He is the quintessential Father. So we need to repair the damage of our childhood in order to be truly empathetic. B, we need to practice what I call the empathy stress test. The empathy stress test. My life coach taught me this valuable lesson. When I am at lunch with someone or a meeting with someone, and I feel myself tensing up, my shoulders getting tight, getting tired physically, I need to just take a second, sit back, take a deep breath, and evaluate, am I working too hard? Am I trying to be God for this person? And I think that when we find ourselves working, then all of a sudden we need to sit back and realize, well, we're trying to do too much. Because we can't do the work that helps a person. God can do that. Sure, we can help, but when we work so hard that we stand in front of what God can do, there's a problem. And let's take this a step farther, because when we come out of a meeting, say we have lunches, I know that I had lunch every day, coffees, and when we come out of those meetings, take a second and assess, was that a meeting that tired me or did it energize me? And if it tired you, then I would suggest that you understand that those type of meetings, those type of people, personalities, whatever, that you make sure that you don't do too many of those each week. That for every meeting that you do that tires you out, make sure you have several meetings with people that you know energize you, that restore your life. Because we all have to give, but we all need to receive. And to stay emotionally healthy, we need to make sure that we take that assessment. It's called the empathy stress test. So make sure you do that, okay? Now, let's look at the empath's upside at work. The empath's upside at work. First, you are big-hearted. And big-hearted people are gifted helpers and mentors. Second, you are passionate. And passionate people put their all into projects. Third, you're intuitive. And intuitive people can read between the lines. Fourth, you are an emotionally responsive person. And that means that you're a great communicator. You're in touch, fifthly, you're in touch with your emotions, which means others can connect well with you. That's the upside. Let's look at the downside a minute. The empath's downside at work. First, you're an emotional sponge. An emotional sponge. Second, you're prone to anxiety, depression, and fatigue. And third, you may find it hard to work well with others. And then fourth, you may be a victim of emotional vampires. We all know those. If you are a super sensitive and empathetic person, be aware of the ways that this wonderful trait serves you in the workplace, but be extra careful to protect your emotional and physical health. Because empathetic people are by definition more vulnerable and open to damage than their peers. So, the key skill here is being present to your emotions. So, the first aspect of creativity that can be learned and that you are not just born with is empathy. The key skill is being present to your emotions. So